Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. So here it is, the day we've all been waiting for. Not really. I doubt anybody even cares anymore, but I wanted to talk about the Red Patriot DLC title update 3.0, my review on everything we got. I made some cliff notes so I could remember or try to remember me pacing through everything and trying to really feel this DLC out, feel all these things out. So let's start from the Pathfinder class. Okay, let's start here. The new class that came in Title Update 3.0, Season Pass holders got it a week early from everyone else. And I heard there were some bugs with that. I don't know. The Pathfinder class is cool. I think it's a little cooler than I thought it would be. The drone is cool for single player. However, it still has some of the issues I knew it would have when I read about it. I feel like the diversion lore, the flashbangs, these tools that are there for perhaps co-op play do not fit well in a solo setting, and therefore you really find yourself calling this drone when you really need to get that firepower down on enemies who might be surrounding you or whatnot. And it's really the only thing that's useful for this Azrael drone that you hack into or whatnot. And you sit there, you shoot a drone, you shoot a missile from the drone, and then you wait a few seconds. I think it's like 10 seconds or something. And then you shoot another one, and then you shoot another one. So 8 seconds. I forget how many seconds. And while doing that, if you were playing in co-op, you still could be putting out flashbangs, putting out diversion lures, putting out what's it called? It's kind of the same tool as the sniper has, where you could it'll shoot out a radius and you'll be able to see where the enemies are located. I'm having a brain fart right now. I forget what it's called. So I mean, all in all, the Azrael drone is cool. I just wish that they would develop not only for co-op play but also for solo play. And I just think that most of the tools with the Pathfinder class with Azrael drone are useless for solo play. But whatever, I could be wrong. You guys let me know what you think about that. As far as the hot thermals that everybody wanted, the black and white thermals, everybody wanted these thermals. We've been asking for these types of thermals for so long, back in Wildlands. Now we finally have them now, and they're locked behind a class. More of a reason why I always talk about classes being an outdated system in video games, at least this type of video game, this genre, the tactical shooter. I understand classes in something like World of Warcraft, RPGs, things of that nature. But in Ghost Recon Breakpoint, you should be able to choose your loadout, and you shouldn't be limited in this case with the hot thermal only being in the Pathfinder class, because I know a lot of people would probably want to run another class and use that and maybe substitute it for something else. But that was a cool addition. I think the crates that came with the class was something that I didn't want to see. You guys let me know what you think about it. I don't want to be going into the thermal mode to look for crates, to go find crates, to open crates, to then buff up my Pathfinder class so I could call the Azrael drone in. And you don't even really hack the Azrael drone. If an Azrael drone's flying over, it's not like you could hack it or anything. This is just a generic, a generic animation. You go in and you start hacking, but really it's just, I think that would have been a really cool mechanic, is if when Azrael drones are flying over, the Pathfinder class could actually hack that Azrael drone. I mean, how cool would that be? And another thing is, what Azrael drone are we actually hacking if this thing is shooting missiles? Like, the Azrael drones don't shoot missiles at you. They find you and then they recon then they send your position to, I guess, the wolves and bumblebee drones that come attack you. You guys know how the programming works and how that mechanic works. It's almost as if Ubisoft Paris doesn't care to make the dots connect. And this is a big issue I have with this development studio, is that these little things matter in our video games. It's because it's what makes things immersive. And when you have a video game that has mechanic A and you try to tie mechanic B into that, but they don't really coincide with what they each do, it makes no sense. So here you have a Pathfinder class that's technically hacking the Azrael drone, but the original Azrael drones don't have these tools where you can shoot flashbangs and missiles. If the Azrael drone actually flies over you, you can't actually hack it. There are just some glaring issues with the design implementation that Ubisoft Paris continues to choose, the paths they keep going down with these decisions that they make. Sometimes it just makes no sense. And I wish somebody on the team would sit there and say, you know, guys, why are we, if we're hacking an Azrael drone, it doesn't make sense because of what I just said. You would think one person on the team would say that. And then they would be like, yeah, let's not make it Azrael drone. Let's just make it something else. I don't know. And it could have been damn near been anything else. Pathfinder class could be throwing its own sortie up or something, its own new type of drone that, you know, I don't know. I really don't know what it could have been. They could have tied it into something else, but that's all for the Pathfinder class, really. You guys let me know what you think about the Pathfinder class. Did you enjoy playing it? Is it going to be your go-to class? I honestly think I like the black and white thermals more than the actual mechanic of the Pathfinder class, which is that Azrael drone. So let me know what you guys think and whatever. So let's keep it moving. What else do we have here? Cosmetics. Yo, cosmetics were cool. I like the Bodark gear. Is it Bodark? Bozark? I don't even remember now. I like the gear. There are a lot of good face masks that were good. You can't color them yet, but maybe in the future title update you will be able to. You know what's weird though? The one Spider-Man mask, and then the hockey mask, and then there's that medieval looking mask that came from like For Honor or something. A lot of these pieces of equipment just don't make sense for this game. And I sit there pondering, are they kind of borrowing assets from other studios making, like, who makes For Honor? Montreal? Who, like, I don't need, let me see. Who develops For Honor? Yeah, For Honor. And if I can't find it real quick, whatever, you guys let me know. For Honor developer. For Honor is developed by Ubisoft Montreal, Blue Byte, San Francisco, and Toronto. So it's a group of them that actually do it. So I almost feel like they were developing that mask, and then Paris kind of borrowed it because it looks like you should be invading, you know, Jerusalem or something back in, what is it, the 1200s or whatever, the 13th century. So, but a lot of the cosmetics were cool. That's really just nitpicking. I know a lot of people want a lot of specific types of cosmetics, and when they see things like this, it's like, what the hell is this? The Spider-Man mask looks really cool, but does it really even fit what we're going for tactical shooters? That's the question we really have to ask ourselves. But whatever. Cosmetics were cool. Are we ever going to get a ghillie headpiece? They made this ghillie, this one weird looking one that has like strings coming down that you get from the raid. Is that the best they can do? Where are the ghillie headpieces to complete the ghillie suit? Are we ever getting that? What's going on with that, Ubisoft? So next, Gunsmith. The Gunsmith options were a really nice welcome. I gotta be honest, I hate the stats on the stocks, only because when you have one that I think is like horizontal or something, or I don't even remember what they were. I just remember one of them. I'm like, this stat is better than the other stat, in my opinion. But the stocks were a nice welcome change. They give a little more variety to the guns that you are putting together, and it's always a welcome change to have more options in Gunsmith and cosmetics and things like that. So kudos to the team for really getting a lot of cosmetics out in this DLC and this title update, between the boat art gear, between the gun butts and things of that nature. It was really nice welcome addition to the game. So now we're going to get into the meat of this DLC, which was the Red Patriot, the 10 bosses that you fight. And I gotta be honest, right off the bat, the missions were mediocre. They're mediocre. I had fun, but I think I have more fun playing them because I live stream it. So when everyone's hanging out in chat, I could just sit here and kind of bug out. And we all kind of just have fun. I'm reading comments. We're all kicking it. So But I gotta also say this: the mission designers are definitely held back by what the map creators created for this world. And I don't know if they're held back by the game engine. I don't know where it ends by people being held back or all these decisions just really bad, but I do know this. The fact that this game map is a compound here, a compound here, a compound here, a compound here, and there's nothing that feels like one huge area that you navigate through like normal games are. Like if you play something like the first Metal Gear Solid or any Metal Gear Solid other than the fifth one that has this same type of feel, it feels like you're playing a game that you're actually going through. You know, when you play The Last of Us, it's this it's this linear design pattern that makes you feel like things are never really ending. And I feel like we need to find a balance between open worlds and that type of structure, because I feel like our open world can still be open, but when you enter an area, it could be a huge sprawling compound where that you get lost in that could have different objectives. And that's what's really missing from the mission design in this game. When you fight one character, you go here, and then there's another one here, and you beat him. And the next character is all the way up here at this bivouac, and then you go here and here, and you'll go up here and here. There's no continuous feeling that you're on a mission. It's just you do this, you beat them, you fly or fast travel over there, and you're usually fast traveling to a bivouac. The mission designers made it even 10 times easier. Started at the bivouac, go here, beat it, go there, beat it. So the way they create these maps, they really need to take a look at what they're doing. I would prefer you could cut a row in half, in my opinion, and it would feel the same, to be honest. The game would feel absolutely the same. You could cut the game in half and then make way more bigger cities. Like I feel like an entire province should be an entire city. There should be one or two or three provinces the size of a province that should be nothing but a huge compound slash city. That's what I'd like to see. So when you're in the middle of that thing, you're like, damn, I'm really in the middle of this. Like I'm lost in here. It's crazy. Like, I want that type of feeling. So let's go. Let me go through these missions and see if I can think. There was one, Medusa. I'll explain Medusa and my disappointment, because this was the first mission that I did, and I felt like, wait, why didn't they do it like this? And I'm going to explain. So for my first mission picking Medusa, it was the worst way to start off this DLC, because you go to this mission and you talk to this character, you get in a car and you drive across a bridge. He drives, the AI drives you across the bridge, and you basically just shoot the minigun. You get out, you go into another tower, you get intel, then you go back across the bridge, right? Yeah. And then after that, I think you get more intel, and then you go find Medusa in this little compound. I went to this compound. I started killing guys. The AI is still so bad. That's, we all know that. And then when I finally got to the door for Medusa, Medusa was just a heavy. So now I'm going into this thinking, this is a DLC. What is this going to be? It's just a heavy. So I feel like Ubisoft they go from one extreme to the next. One minute they're giving you raids with robots, and then the next minute they're like, we'll just abandon all of that and just give you a normal NPC to kill. And I don't know if this is on the designers, the programmers, or both. But when I came upon Medusa, the first thing I thought was, how cool would it have been? And I think I said this in my chat while live streaming. How cool would it have been if they took the mythological idea of Medusa, which is when you look at Medusa, you turn to stone, right? Medusa is the beautiful snake, whatever, right? And she has all the snakes coming out. So I thought of it like this. How can you take that idea and build it into a tactical shooter, right? So for this boss, let's say I'm working at Ubisoft and they say, how do you want to do the Medusa boss fight? I would have thought of something like this. You walk into this room. It's a huge room. You could still have, You could still have that if you want the heavy to be the boss, whatever. But it's one boss with maybe 10 AI bodyguards, 5 on one side, 5 on the other. And the minute you walk in, you start getting flashbanged. And the idea of this boss fight is that you have to constantly be looking away because the AI enemies are constantly throwing flashbangs at you, trying to flank and attack you. So now all you would have needed from these developers would have say, yo, let's program a few of these AI characters to just consistently throw flashbangs. And the player has to maybe go from one cover to the next, trying to pop their head up quick and shoot an enemy. And so the idea of Medusa turning you to stone you can't see would have been this boss fight constantly throwing flashbangs to enemies. You eliminate the enemies one at a time. Maybe the boss is constantly shooting at you or retreating while the bodyguards attack you with flashbangs and try to kill you. After you kill them all, then you could kill the boss. You know, kind of give you a sense like, oh, that was a cool take of Medusa for Ghost Recon in the tactical shooter. That's kind of cool. And it could have been anything. I mean, you guys could be sitting there like, oh, I had this idea too. You let me know in the comments. But for my first mission, once I played that, I was kind of like, nah. Either these developers aren't up to the challenge of putting out quality content, or the Anvil Next engine is so bad and their programmers are so incapable of creating this type of content that these developers are stuck using tools that just are bad. So it's either, and it says this isn't a dichotomy. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It could be both, or it could be neither. You know, maybe this is just the best they can do. Maybe, so I guess that would make it one. That would make it one of the cases which they're just not that good. But yeah, I didn't even know I killed Medusa when I went in. I walked in and boom, I started shooting people and Medusa was down. I was like, oh shit, killed him? So, whatever. Let's keep it moving. Then we had Basilisk. Which one was Basilisk? That was the one, oh, saving the hostages. Okay. It still feels like the same type of thing. It's the same type of mechanic that's already built into this engine. Well, how hard was it really to just save these hostages? They were on a timer, so you just had, you walked up to the computer, you went do 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 do, and then the hostage was gone. Then let's see what happened. Oh yeah, that's right. Then after you save the hostages, you go and you have to find him. He's up at an abandoned church with enemies surrounding him. And this was just another boss that just I got here and I was like, yo, what the hell, man? There's nothing that these developers can do because the game is designed, I'm talking about the game map, so bad that the mission designers right now have no idea how to build for this game at this point. They put themselves into a corner. They built themselves into a corner with this game that moving forward, I don't even know how you're going to keep putting out. How do you put out a year 2 content for this game and look your audience in the straight look your audience in the eye with a straight face like yeah, you should buy this. It's going to be good. When this was supposed to be the cream of the crop and it was basically just 10 missions to go kill a generic NPC that had a somewhat of a mechanic behind him that is already in the game. It was really nothing new, nothing fresh. So that was Basilisk was cool. You know, whatever, save the hostages, then you find them and kill them. Whatever. Then who was next? Cyclops. Let's see, which one was this? Having to move. Oh god, this is the snow one. Cyclops, I hated this mission. I hated it. Because I would be following the blood trail and the marker, the objective marker on the minimap wouldn't move. Because you had to walk over like a precise area. Like the trigger area, these guys programmed the trigger area to be so small that you couldn't just kind of nonchalantly walk into the area you're supposed to be walking into and it kept you moving. You know how many times I was walking and I was into the game and I had to look down at my minimap to make sure I was on point with the mission and the objective marker was all the way behind me. So I had to run all the way back, run over the exact pinpoint spot to keep it moving. Only for then, after all of that, all that tedious BS where I'm constantly trying to get the objective marker to move. And I didn't test it out where I could ignore the objective marker and just go straight to the cave. I didn't test that out. Maybe I should have, but for those playing with, with no HUD, which is another nightmare, I'll talk about that afterwards if I remember, which is basically the too long didn't read is that these developers are not designing for people who play with no HUD. The audio cues, the visual cues, there's just nothing there for people with no HUD. I had to actually put these things on because I was lost in the beginning missions. Like, what the hell am I doing? So anyway, so with Cyclops, I finally get to the cave and I go outside and all of a sudden it's the generic Ubisoft Paris spawning enemies BS that if you would have just run 10 seconds on either side, you would get to the point where you're just watching the enemies spawn and you just sit there and shoot them. I mean, this is the best a AAA game and the company behind it can do. Guys, you need to write a new engine. Write a new engine, lease a new engine, because if this is an engine issue, what the heck is going on? And if it's not, if it's a design issue, you guys need better designers in there. If the only way you guys can design these things is for enemies to pop up to make the end of the mission fun, think about it. This is all Cyclops was. Get to the crash site, look around, find some intel, follow a blood path up to a trail that took me forever with the little objective markers, and then bam, enemies spawn from both directions and I kill them and that was the end of it. Like, that's it. This is your DLC content. You want people to pay for this. And I mean, I've already been burned, as you could see. So I don't care. I've already been burned. On day one, I was burned. I bought the collector's edition. So for me, I don't care. But if I went out there right now and bought this DLC, I'd be pretty pissed. Because one boss after another, it's like, what is this? This is just generic. These are just generic missions. And this is paid premium DLC live service content, supposedly. Let's keep it moving. Kraken. I made a cool little video on Kraken. This was the only mission that kind of felt like a Splinter Cell real infiltration mission, in my opinion. And I'll link it up here for any of you who want to see my theatrical gameplay type videos and the way I do these types of gameplay videos. I suggest take a look at this Kraken video that I made and let me know what you think. So it was fun. It was basically just how like a Sam Fisher mission would be, or how these recon missions should be. You went, you grabbed intel, you found Kraken, you took Kraken out, you went to the submarine, you destroy the submarine in the way they let you destroy it, and then you exfiltrate. It was quick to the point, and I don't know, for some reason I like this mission, but it was probably because it's the only mission that felt different, which was go destroy a submarine. You know, there should be more missions like that in this game, destroying submarines or attacking anything other than a convoy or something like that. Like, it was cool that there was actually a submarine in that base and you got to destroy it. So that I don't know, that felt kind of cool. Manticore. Which one is Manticore? Where you had to track the containers. That's right. The funny part about this mission, I got to the containers, and I'm sure a lot of you tried this as well. I tried using the Pathfinder Azrael drone to just shoot the containers, and they didn't blow up. And then I just walked up to the containers and I shot them with bullets, and they eventually blew up. So kudos for Ubisoft with the way they program damage in this game. It's very weird. So let's see. Yeah. Then you find Manticore and kill him. Oh yeah, then after that, Manticore's in a base, you find him and you kill him. Generic stuff. Harpy. Harpy we kill. Oh, Harpy was the one where we kill men along the beach. That was fun because they're all open. I had fun using the rebel bomb. What's it called? Strike designator. So I bombed a few guys. And then let's see, we placed the jammer on the antenna. That's right. We go up and Harpy starts. Yeah, this is what I didn't like. So I placed the jammer on the antenna, and then all of a sudden Harpy starts talking to me. I don't even see him. He's not anywhere around me. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you because what you did to fly catcher or something like that." And I was like, "Where is this dude? What?" And then you had to clear out the entire area, which is boring. Like, who cares? Why do I have to clean? I'm on the island of Aroa, what does it matter that I have to kill every last enemy in this one little area? I didn't really understand that, but whoever designed that one, that's what they wanted you to do, so whatever. Then Oracle, let's see. It's Oracle, I liked Oracle too. You know why? We found the guy in the woods, and the Oracle mission, that little part where you're carrying him, that felt like how the entire game of Breakpoint should have been. Meaning, that first mission in Breakpoint where there are guys patrolling around looking for you, I thought the whole game would basically feel like that, and Oracle felt like that, where there were patrols and they were out and they were moving around in the woods around your location. That felt really cool. That's what I wanted to see more of in the game, but it ended up that behind enemy lines BS was basically just a narrative for the first 10 minutes, and then that whole thing disappeared. Ironically enough, with the blossoming tree, the guy who made that article thought that that was the worst part of the game because, you know, we didn't explain to the audience what was going on with, you know, going and finding blossoming trees. But I digress. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll link it up here. Go watch that blossoming tree video. It's a doozy. So Sphinx is next. Gather intel from investigating a soldier, enter the base, and assassinate him. That was the basic direction of where they took that mission. You went to that little area, you grab one of the dudes, you get intel, that leads you to where Sphinx is. You go into the base and you kill Sphinx. Bada bing, bada boom, that mission was over. Griffin was steal the truck and place it near the beach. This mission was another, hey guys, how can we make this game fun? I know, let's just spawn 50 million characters to come kill the player. So Sphinx was another one. You drive the truck down to the beach, you radio him, you talk to him, you have a conversation with him, whatever, and then you get attacked by a lot of soldiers, find a good spot, kill them all. Took me a couple tries to get in a good spot. I was playing on extreme, so I got caught a couple times. Let's see. And then Stone. Oh, God, Stone. Shout out to everybody in my live stream for those 2 days. But for the people who watched me fight Stone, on extreme, I had to put it on easy because the game was so cheesy on extreme. I'm talking about I'd be hiding and a wolf who was walking above me would fall through the floor and pop up behind me. Like, this is all on stream. Like, we're watching it in real time, and it's like, what the hell? What is going on with this mission? Dudes popping up. The first time I died was, I think, my first playthrough. I went and got the intel. So you go, you know, the game tells you, oh, go get this intel. So you're there taking pictures of the monitor of the TV, and Nomad's like this. He's just like this for like freaking 10-15 seconds, and while I'm doing that, I couldn't cancel it, and enemies just came up and just started shooting me, and I was like, oh my god, this is terrible. That was like my first death. But that mission was more of that, where it's just you gain an inch, you do something methodical, and all of a sudden enemies spawn, and you know, they're on your flanks or they're behind you, and it was like, oh my god. Eventually I ended up, what I did first was, I think I put my AI characters on, and then I just ended up putting it on easy, and I was like, dude, I'm not gonna sit here and go through this mission that's so tedious with enemies, with wolves on extreme, spawning everywhere, to the point where they spawn everywhere, they know everywhere where you are. Dude was, like I said, was falling through walls. It was just, ugh. I don't know why they can't design, like, why couldn't that just be an awesome infiltration mission? If you guys control where you get to put these characters, why couldn't it just be 50 wolves patrolling everywhere and you trying to sneak through the base to kill Stone? And if someone wants to play on easy and just do it easily, who cares? But for those of us playing on extreme, that would have been way better, in my opinion, having to creep through that place to kill Stone than what we did, which was basically run into the place. There are no enemies anywhere. There were a few wolves outside of where Stone was. Walk up to Stone, talk to him, and then it's, go unlock 3 boxes so this door opens, and then you kill Stone. And then to add insult to injury, when I finally beat Stone and the cinematic ended, my game crashed. I loaded back up, and I had to beat him again because apparently it didn't register that I beat him. So that was an insult to injury to my entire playthrough of that stone mission. When I finally beat him, I had to beat him again because the game crashed. And that's it. That's it. That was my experience of what I went through for Title Update 3.0. I think Ubisoft Paris is either creatively bankrupt or Anvil Next 2.0 is so old and can only do so few things that Ubisoft Paris is stuck using this terrible engine for Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Now, this engine might work well with something like Assassin's Creed, because Assassin's Creed is all about, hack and slash, quick assassinations. So you can do these very simple mechanics. Pick this up, assassinate that person, go over here. That works well, I guess, with Assassin's Creed. But maybe for Ghost Recon Breakpoint, maybe Ubisoft needs to invest in creating a new engine for the upcoming platforms, PS5, Xbox Series X, and these new Beast RTX 30 series cards, because the future is looking bright for gaming. And when I can play something like Ghost of Tsushima or The Last of Us 2, and they're doing better things, whether it's the open world with Ghost of Tsushima or the gunplay and mechanics and the fighting and how the AI feels in The Last of Us 2, I'm getting a mix and match of what Ghost Recon should be, and it's better in these other games, and I'm confused as to why. And I don't know if it's an engine issue. I don't know if it's just a skill issue with these developers. I would love to see how this all came together for Red Patriot. I would love to have seen what they wanted to do with Transcendence, whether it was some type of cyborg, built up machine, super soldier type thing, and they canceled it. Like, I don't know where this game or this company is going to go with this franchise, but I do know this. This game lives somewhere in between super generic robots in a raid and super generic NPC that you get to kill in a DLC. I feel like the fine line's got to be somewhere in here where you could have F-16s or fighter planes and tanks and all of this type of stuff, all these heavy machinery that's in warfare. You can have these types of things in your game, and you can have these types of generic NPCs in your game, but you need to bring them kind of in the middle and mix and mesh them together to have a fully functional tactical shooter feel to these games. None of these bosses felt like it was all just like, here's a mission, here's a mission, here's a mission, here's a mission. And to me, none of it even came together. Everything, all their backstories went right over my head. Kraken brought his team over on the submarine, and they're going to bring the gas over to the United. Like, what? Does that even make sense, right? We're on a Roa. The whole point of a Roa is that the drones have us trapped here. But now this submarine is going to get through to the United States and just what? Park a submarine on the shore and offload these gas bombs in a port? Like, I didn't even understand how this narrative worked. It didn't even make no sense. The story is just like, whatever. It's just right over my head. All this shit made no sense. And then it's just, I don't know, at this point in time, just, it's an L. It's a big fat L. Other than the fact that I'm now going down the path of content creation. So Ubisoft might put out a game and I might feel kind of obligated to buy the season pass to kind of play it and create content, things of that nature. Dude, no, I don't see why any normal person should buy anything like this ever again from Ubisoft. I mean, you might as well wait to buy Ubisoft games at this point, because there's so many better games out there that developers are putting in 3, 4, 5, 6 years to create, and they're reaping the rewards of that tenfold by how good the games are and how good the games sell. I just don't see Ubisoft Paris being able to give us anything that's substantial at this point if this is the best they can do after all this time. I mean, even looking back at the Sam Fisher DLC, it was one mission, you found Fisher, and it was the same thing. He drove, you shot shit, right? Same thing. First mission here, first mission here. This is the same mission, dude. You're literally recycling content for year one pass owners. How does that make any sense? And then a bunch of middle missions in the Fisher DLC. The girl with the purple hair. I erased this girl's identity. This guy, like, what? It's just like, it's strike after strike after strike with this game. And although I might have had fun playing it, I still think it wasn't worth it. I wouldn't tell anybody right now, yo, G, do you think it's worth it? If you see me running around in a certain skin, and to you, that skin or cosmetic is worth it, like, oh my God, I want that, go purchase it. Just for the simple fact that you have cool cosmetics. If that's the type of player you are, go do it. Other than that, if you're looking just for quality content to play, these missions provided nothing new to this game. Nothing groundbreaking, nothing that they can rinse, wash, and repeat later on that I see. It's all the same basic run-of-the-mill shit that Ubisoft Paris has been churning out since Wildlands. So that's all. That's my review. How long is that? Not bad. I could have gone on with a lot of these bosses and thinking of how I would have done the boss fights. Harpy, Oracle, Manticore, they all kind of cool code names. Cyclops. So how can you take these code names and then kind of make them make sense for a boss fight, like how I did with Medusa? But you let me know what you thought of that Medusa idea. Let me know if you would have thought of anything better for these types of boss fights. What type of boss fights would you like to see in the tactical shooter, in Ghost Recon itself? We all know the boss fights we don't want is what's in the raid, but I'm pretty sure I don't want these types of boss fights either. I think they can push it a little bit more to where you can get something to how Walker was, minus his healing drones, you know, and minus enemies just constantly spawning. Use the mechanics at your disposal. Make more. You guys not have C++ developers that you know, I don't know if it's C++, if it's C. I know a lot of the jobs on Ubisoft boards are for those types of programming languages. You know, build up your engine, add some new mechanics that your designers can utilize to give us fun and engaging gameplay. Do not make another map where it's this little area, and they're all over the place to the point where you can't even design a cohesive story because your player has to go from here to down to here to up to here to over here. You guys got to figure out these design implementations, man, because I'm telling you right now, it's not cutting it. It is not cutting it. You can create something way better than this. And if it's technical limitations, I think that should be put to rest at this point, being that we're moving so far into the hardware side of things that the hardware can do so much for you guys that you should be able to build out the ideas that you have in your head at this point. And I can't believe that this is the best that this development team can come up with. I'm really starting to believe that they're just limited by this game engine. You all let me know in the comments, what do you think? Do you think it's a game engine issue? Do you think game engine issue? Do you think it's just the developers aren't up to the task? They don't care. Maybe they're not that good. I don't know. I want to give people the benefit of the doubt. I've seen so much bad in this game that I don't know what I don't know what else to say, man. I really don't know what else to say about this game. It's probably my most favorite hated game I've ever played. And that's just because I feel like it's just developed so bad. So that's all, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to end it there. Thank you so much for watching. Comment down below on anything and everything. We will discuss some things like always. Stop by the live stream during the week. Hang out. We can discuss things in real time. And that's it. Let me know what you thought of the Red Patriot DLC. Let me know what you thought of the Pathfinder class. Let me know what you thought of the cosmetics, things of that nature, the Gunsmith. And we'll kick it in the comments. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Everybody enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will see you all in the next video. All right, everybody. Peace.